Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, Resident Evil 4 Remastered, Advance Wars 1 plus 2 Reboot Camp, Dead Space Remake, Mega Man Battle Network Collection. I'm probably forgetting some, but we're not even halfway done with the year, and we've already gotten all of these remakes, re-releases, reboots, whatever you want to call it, in just this short span of month. 2023 is looking like the year of the remake. Now, of course, remakes, re-releases, remasters have existed since forever, right? Since literally like the GBA, probably even before that. But it is not far-fetched to say that developers are realizing more and more that their old games are gonna sell well. So of course they're gonna re-release it, report it in modern consoles. And I think that's really, really important. So let's take a look at Final Fantasy Pixel Remastered, which just came out on consoles. I know it's been around Steam, but like just let's just say you're a console only player that played, let's say you played Final Fantasy 16, right? That comes out in a few weeks. You played Final Fantasy 16, you're like, oh my god, that's awesome, let me go back. But you realize that you can only go back to, I think, 7 comfortably with like a PlayStation or a Switch. You're like, okay, cool, I can play 7. But let's say a year ago you wanted to try out 4 or 5 or 2. And again, mobile ports exist, but this isn't just a pixel remaster problem. This is a problem for any retro game, Dragon Quest, whatever you want to call it. You play their modern game, and then you don't want to go to the retro game store, especially in today's prices. Am I right? They're asking for your first and second born son to get an SNES, and God forbid you buy it from DK Oldies. I'm not gonna go there. But you buy an SNES, you buy a cartridge that's already running you like $10 billion, and then you play Final Fantasy V on your TV. That is not a good streamlined way to play old games. That's gonna make hardcore collectors are like, dude, easy, I got that. But a casual fan that just played 16 and wants to see where the series started, they're gonna watch like a YouTube tutorial or something. They're not gonna go out of their way to go to their local retro shop or online, which is even worse, and find and hunt down these old copies of Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, whatever. So I think it's really, really important from a game preservation standpoint, and just from a like making your library of games, making the legacy games that made your franchise what it is available to modern audiences through whatever means necessary, I think is so important. And I think the industry has realized this, but I think more and more, like for example, Mega Man Battle Network Collection and Advanced Wars reboot, like 2-3 years ago, that would have seemed impossible, at least to me. But more and more we're getting these niche games that people loved when they were younger, and new fans and old fans alike get to re-experience it. A personal story of mine, I've never played any of the pixel Final Fantasy games at all. I love Final Fantasy. I have too many hours in 14. I've played 10, 7, hated 8, but still got reasonably far. But I just never played the pixel remasters. And of course, mobile ports aside, which is not a way that I like to play these older games, which I know was an option, but for me, in my opinion, it just wasn't the best. It wasn't appetizing. Now I'm playing through 6 on my Switch, and it is one of my favorite games, one of my favorite JRPGs I've ever played. I'm not even done with it yet, but I love it so much. And I think that's the key there. New fans like myself that are getting to experience these games. And I remember I was talking to a buddy of mine that's played 6, that's played 4, and he told me, man, I wish I could just wipe away my memory and play 6 again, play 4 again, play this and that again, play Resident Evil 4 again, because these games defined my childhood. So people like him, old fans, are like, I'm gonna buy it anyways because I was 7 years old when I played it. I was in high school when I played it, and I want to re-experience it again. And then people like me that's like, hey, I've never even played Advance Wars, I've never played the Mega Man Battle Network games, but they look fun, they have a fan base for a reason. So I'm gonna go out, buy the game, come home, play it, see what it's all about. And I think that is the key of gaming. Now, of course, new games are important too. I'm not saying that developers should just give up on making new games and just re-releasing their old games. I think that there should live 2 worlds, a remake world and a new game modern world, because without our old games, without the legacy games that made these franchises what they are today, I feel like it's a little bit harder to appreciate the legacy and the journey it took to get from 16 to go from Final Fantasy 1 to Final Fantasy 16, Dragon Quest 1 to Dragon Quest 11. If all of these games were available for all audiences to try out, these new modern games are going to be like, damn, I played Final Fantasy 1 on my PS5 like a week ago, and holy hell, does Final Fantasy 16 look better. I can't believe it. 15 games in between made this big of a jump. You know, people should have access to these games, and I can't help but think the eShop closed. The 3DS and Wii U eShop closed not too long ago, like a little bit less than a month ago. So many games got lost. Now, of course, hack your DS, emulate your DS. Look, I understand. I have a hacked DS. I have 10 billion random German games on my DS. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just like legal ways that a casual fan can enjoy these games. I think these remasters, these re-releases are important, and I'm so glad they're here, and I hope they're here to stay. Because another lens you can think about it, and I'm sorry, I'm rambling at this point. It's like the Mega Man Battle Network collection, for an example. This game has had more eyes on it than it has for like the past 15 years, I want to say. Like, and honestly, look, I understand it has a fan base, it still has like a healthy esports, but think like 2 years ago, only really like a very small group of people remember the Battle Network games, right? But now people are loving them, people are playing them. I'm seeing it all over because of the Legacy collection that came out. This opens up the door if it sells well enough. I don't know the numbers, I don't have the raw data, but if it sells well enough, people could see a Mega Man Battle Network 7. Who knows, you know? And or like Advance Wars, the other Advance Wars games could get a reboot if this reboot is good, this remake, whatever. What I'm saying is, time didn't make these games suddenly outdated. These games don't expire, these worlds, these characters. Honestly, some of the gameplay systems, they didn't just like, oh, modern games already threw those out. Like, the Final Fantasy VI story sucks because Final Fantasy 15 is just so modern. Like, no, these games can coexist. These worlds should be experienced by new fans and old fans again. And these games are important to experience if you love the franchise or if you want to check it out for the first time. Final Fantasy VI to this day is regarded to as the best Final Fantasy for a lot of players. Like I said, I'm not sure about that because I'm barely playing through it, but from what I've played, which is not much, like 10 hours or so, I can see that it is a gem of a game. If this game, same narrative, same plot, same world, just released today as Final Fantasy 16 and it was just a 3D world, people would love it. These stories are timeless and they have a room in our industry. They have a room to exist, to coexist with modern games, because these stories, like I said, they don't expire. They don't become outdated because these narratives are really important. So yeah, I'm here and I'm welcoming all these remakes with open arms. I love it. I love this new trend we're heading towards, and I hope we get more. I'm sorry if this video is all over the place, but yeah, pretty much these remakes, the Final Fantasy Pixel Remastered is important. I want to make a dedicated video on the Pixel Remastered soon, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, sorry, super rambly video, but I'm passionate about this, so I just wanted to talk about it. Remakes are here to stay, and I hope you are as well in this channel. My name is Spooky, and take care.